Hi, thanks for joining this meeting, a developer meeting for CloudNativePG. So this is the agenda. So we start with an overview of the board, and thanks for adding items to the agenda. So overview of the board, then I suggested just skimming the current issues, pull requests and discussions. I encourage everyone to participate. Then I would like to get an idea on which main feature to introduce. Sorry, yeah, thanks, Claire. To introduce into 117. Then Leonardo wants to show the API, the proposed API for separate wall volumes. And Jaime wants to talk about better coordinated effort on end-to-end testing. So I'll start with the board. Okay, here it is. So we've got in second review from Jonathan this. Do you have any news on? So I remember that we discussed with Philippe as well. I think Philippe has already reviewed this patch, but then we decided to wait for 117, and also we were thinking of adding a similar functionality for the post-import section that we have introduced in the import. So essentially here, I don't know if you're familiar, we support post-init application SQL, which is a list of queries to run. The proposal from TQ is to add references so that we can introduce, basically run SQL files that are imported as secrets or config maps. So ideally, we should be able to repeat these for every SQL post something command we have. So shall we wait for Jonathan here?
I remember it was missing documentation. I don't know if it has been added.
Let me see if I can. I've got this recording thing that is on the way of my screen. Yeah, I don't remember. No, this is okay. The pull request. Okay, that was 1 week ago. Anyway, given that I think Jonathan is assigned to these, we should. Are you okay if we move to the next one? This is waiting for a second review. Who wants to talk about these?
This was an improvement of how we handle Barman and how we add variables, environmental variables to our pod. It needed a bit of refactor because it was starting to get really messy.
Okay, so you did this refactor.
Yep. And John reviewed it.
Yeah, I did the first review.
Okay, so who wants to do the last review?
I can do it.
Okay. Can you take that, Leo?
Yeah,
Please. Okay. Then we've got update status is if PG resizes pending. Marco is working on this. Okay, this is the post-GIS images. I think how advanced is probably today, I think. Yeah, I last time I checked, it was still waiting for review. I don't know. So is Tao here? No, it's not. Okay. What's this?
Yeah, this is important. That means that if we receive a pull request, we aren't able to run the end-to-end tests on it, even if the pull request is approved. And Jonathan was working on it. So it's basically an improvement in our workflows.
I see in first review, but I don't see
How?
I don't see any ticket or any pull request.
So perhaps the pull request don't reference this issue. We need to check inside the pull request list.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of stuff I think we need to be better, because otherwise.
Yeah, I found it. Let me link them.
Okay. But I thought it should be, you know, automated to 4 to 6.
No, it's not automatic because it's a security measure. Otherwise, well, the thing is that from a fork, if you are able to run actions.
No. I was saying linking the PR here. Okay, close this. Now we see it. Basically, I wasn't able to find there's a ticket in second review. Actually in first review, but there's no link to the PR. So it becomes difficult to then, move between PR and issue in the board. I don't know if I explain myself properly. Anyway. Okay. So, and yeah, Francesco, please go ahead. Yeah.
I was saying that it's not done automatically because it's a safety measure. Otherwise, well, you still, to run the test, you will need to have the secrets. You will need to be able to access everything that we have inside the hidden settings. So that's why you can't run workflows from forks.
And with this patch, we enable that.
I have no idea. I don't know the patch.
Okay. Okay, so first review. Then we've got waiting for first review. Okay, I need to do this. Okay. And this is a small change I did this morning. I think it's Mathieu asked, reported these about huge pages. I actually had a bit of a chat this morning with Craig. I asked him to update the ticket, but he didn't. It made me reflect on, I think that there was no investigation on the actual issue. Okay, so the approach that I took with this patch is pretty much to enable the configuration, but sorry, enable the configuration without changing the default values or even changing the images. Okay, so maybe we can do that in the future, but from now, we enable users to configure huge pages in the Postgres configuration. Okay, because by default it was try. Okay, so that's, let's say, you know, an initial change. If somebody wants to review it. Then we've got replication slots, but maybe it's better if we move it to the next item in the agenda. What about these?
Yeah, can you scroll down that? So I think it's listed out. Yeah. So we agree on that. Like if the instance of that cluster is equal to the pod is ready, so we can say the cluster is ready. So we are agree on that condition. So we are adding only one condition for that. So I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. This is the, yeah. We have proposed these a long time ago, Jaime.
Yeah, I started working on it last week. Finally, I'm making progress on it. I think it'll be ready soonish.
Okay, good. Then this is remove foot. Okay, this, I remember, I don't know which user reported these in an issue, and yeah, Jonathan has created these. Do you have anything to say about these other
Yeah,
tickets?
439 is like small enhancement, last one. So
Okay.
for the investigation perspective, like whenever anything regarding the backup objects, so we need to add that backup object as a context logs as well. So I'm just enhancement point of view.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is okay from the backlog, but let's wait to add stuff. I think this would be nice to have. I'd like to, if possible. What do you think about adding these to 117? What do you think?
Let's do it. This is important.
Let's see if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think the first item of the agenda was done. Shall we quickly go through the issues? I think I'm more than happy if you want, now that I have, I think, time to do these, to go through some of these issues and classify them. For example, 117, or 118, or maybe I can chat in the dev channel about what we think instead of doing it now. But what do you think?
There is a really nice issue that I'd like to bring up. Is 407. It's just a bit down, the one with bug. Yeah, this one is the one I just linked it to the one Jonathan opened.
Okay.
When it is in the.
Yeah, I thought it was
our
this. Yeah,
Kanban.
sorry.
No, this is different, and this is really, yeah. I think this is really useful for us. Yeah, it's important. So maybe related. It's partially related to the work Jonathan is doing about memory allocation. This one is more on the API server side, but yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, these are the issues. Do you have anything in particular here you want to talk about?
Another nice one is 402. This is an user reporting that it's just up. They are sorted. Yeah. The one with
okay,
make, yeah. I think we need to classify this as improvement or something like that. Let me check. No, no, perhaps no. It's a bug, I guess. It's more than a bug. What happens here is that we have many runnables inside our instance manager, and if one of them crashes or raises an error, everyone goes down. Yeah, I think we need to be more careful while ending these error conditions. Yes.
And why would you say this is a bug, Leo?
Oh, it's more an improvement.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have an idea of the complexity of this?
No, I didn't talk about it.
Okay.
Didn't talk about it. Yeah.
Let's see if we can put it here. And the other one was. I'll put this in backlog. Yeah. Let's see if we can, do some of this work. Do you see the ticket for the wall archive? No, I don't see it here. Anyway. Okay, pull requests. Anything here you think we should talk about? This is to be reviewed. Okay. Okay, I'll quickly move here. I don't know if you see, but there are some very often, I mean, very often, I see, a few a week. There's users that open issues, asking questions. What we can do is transform them into discussions and then drive a conversation there. Okay, this is very important.
Nice.
Okay, so
the issue about wall archive is the one with number 10.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, we can talk. So I encourage, I think we need to if we can help, to reply to especially the unanswered ones. For example, this one cluster not coming up. This one has disappeared. So, for example, we can do. Okay, so that maybe we can close the issue if nobody replies. I think all of this is important because it shows, that there's activity. Okay. Anyway, so these were my two items. Okay, and then this one. So as I was saying, with EDB, we are allowed to work on, we can select a feature to be added, main feature for 117. talking with some of you, the idea is to go with a separate wall archive, volume for wall archive. The other one is the replication slots. The idea is to add one for 117 and then another one for 118. Okay. Then, of course, if we are able to develop, for example, the separate wall archive first, we can then concentrate on replication slots or vice versa. It's really up to us. These were, you know, my two main favorite features, next features that I think will improve the performance and the stability. I still need to get familiar with GitHub. So you were saying number 10, Leo?
Yes.
I think that's in the roadmap. Okay, so this is wall archive table space. So shall we put these in 117 or shall we work on the replication slots for 117?
I'd like to have the wall volume really. This is just me.
So basically, the replication slots, if you've got backups in place and wall archiving in place, is not, let's say, relevant, okay? Because the standby, if it goes out of sync, it can then resume by getting wall files from the archive. But there are some users that reached out to us saying that they don't have continuous backups and the standbys go down, so they go out of sync. So the only way that they can, you know, recreate the standby is to destroy the PVC and reclone from scratch, okay? Or keep a high value of wall keep segments of max wall size, okay? So if you do that, though, if you keep a very high value for wall keep segments, basically Postgres retains up to, let's say, 500 wall files, so that the standby, if it goes down, it can fetch the wall file from the primary instead of the archive. Okay, if you do that right now, because the PG data is shared for wall files and for data files, you are removing 16 megabytes time 5. It's about half a gigabyte. No, half a gigabyte. 5 gigabytes. Sorry, 500 times 16. 5,000, yeah, let's say 8 gigabytes, right, of wall files, if you set that to 500. And now I don't remember, anyway. This gets recorded, that's a good thing. So if we at least have a separate volume for the wall archive, we can dedicate a specific amount of space for the wall archive. So even have a better more predictability about the usage of the wall files. Okay, so I don't know if that makes sense. I think I improvised with the explanation and it didn't come out very well, but so if we have a separate volume, let's say we dedicate 10 gigabytes to the wall archive, or 15 gigabytes to the wall archive, we know that we can set that value for the wall size, okay, max wall size. So we don't need the backup for resynchronizing the standbys, okay. or we reduce the, the risk of having the frequency of having to reclone the standbys. So probably, if we do this, we could also improve the performance if we do the wall archive table space, because we have we separate IO for writing the wall file and for writing data files. Okay, so this could also improve the performance. And this is much easier to implement than replication slots. Okay, which is, so it's really up to us, but from what, I chatted with some of you, and I think that you prefer to start with these, but I really leave these up to you to decide. So please,
I think this can be started and completed, while the replication slot can be started, but with all the holidays, I'm not sure that it can see the light for 117. So. By the way, I also think this title is wrong because it's not a table space. Yeah. It's volume.
Well, you know what? In the meantime, I'm changing the title here.
You agree with me?
Yeah. And now, wow, WebSockets. It changed. Huh? This is so nice.
hello, sorry, I apologize. I had to pick up a phone call. So I missed everything. Anyway, yeah, can you
we rename the ticket from table space to volume because it's not a table space. Good. And then yeah, I think this can be closed for 117. The other one maybe can be started, but it won't be ready.
Exactly.
So maybe both of them can be started, but only this one will be out.
Totally agree with Francesco. And this one, the one about the wall archive volume, is possibly more important, as you, Gabriele, was explaining. It's also, we had benefits also from the other point of view of replicas.
Okay, good. So I'll put this in 117 then. Okay, and I put this in what to do?
Seems like it's in the roadmap project.
Transfer issue. Choose a repository. Okay, this is how it needs to be done. No, this is an issue. Sorry.
Day-to-day project.
I think yeah. After at the right of project, you have that one.
Repository. Okay, good. It's in both. Okay,
you can remove the roadmap project, I think. I don't know.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. So Leo, do you want to Do you want to talk about these?
Yeah, it's just a quick chat about this API that we are proposing. So as you can see here inside the spec, akin to the storage stanza inside the spec, we are planning to add a new one that is named World Storage. From the Go point of view and also from the OpenAPI point of view too, we are reusing the same configuration type, which is, if I remember correctly, something like storage configuration inside the code. And that's it. So what do you think about it? We are just reusing the same underlying mechanism. So you can set the size, you can set the storage class, and or directly create a PVC template. And then you have also the option to choose if you want to resize the existing PVCs or not, which is defaulting to true. We have the same inside the storage stanza too.
Okay.
So yeah, what do you think about it? Do you like it, or should we evaluate something else?
I need to think about it.
Yeah, it's not an easy.
So basically what happens with this is that, once we set this up, we spin up a volume. Then if it's a new cluster, I think we can invoke initdb specifying a different directory for the walls. But then we should also support changes with live clusters. Okay, so for example, you could remove these in a live cluster, and PG walls will be moved back in the PG data, or we say, we don't support that. So this is all something we have to decide. We say, okay, you cannot move the wall storage, or, if we want, we can add to an existing cluster. So what we can do is add the volume to all the standbys, do the symbolic link and move the wall files to the new location, and then restart the standby, do this for all the standbys, basically trigger rolling upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So I think yeah, we have to differentiate probably between the initialization and the change in a running cluster, So we have to think about adding one or removing one. So
for now, we were thinking about just having these when you bootstrap a new cluster, just to explore.
Yeah, that's definitely the first step, and then we can add end-to-end tests.
Yes.
Okay, good. So good. I'm glad we have picked these, so we've put it in the roadmap. So Leo, you spoke about this. I think we've got Jaime now, right?
Okay.
You want to share the screen, Jaime?
Okay. I can share for like the purpose of maybe taking notes, because I have some stuff, but don't expect too much in the way of notes. Okay. So we've talked about, we had a meeting way back about testing. Everybody's unhappy about testing, and we had some pie in the sky ideas, and we've never done anything about it. And the thing is, we've had a lot of discussion in the past few months, in the past few weeks, for instance, with the microservices approach. Oh, sorry, with the logical backup feature there was a lot of testing, and there was a push in the end to like make it better done, and kind of more better use of Jinko. So there are two things that I think we can all agree on and we can all express. And one is that the suite takes a long time to execute. And this is a penalty, like if you're just, doing feature work, and especially if you want to test on the cloud, it takes a long time, but also in your dev laptop, it takes a long time. And then adding one end-to-end test takes a long time to develop. And not only is this painful for, like getting a new feature and very quickly making tests, but this was something that Leonardo mentioned in the previous meeting we had, which is that there is no way that we use testing as a tool. For instance, when we get a ticket from support, we're not going to build a test to make sure that we're fixing the thing that needs fixing, because it's just too complicated to get an end-to-end test going. So there are concrete things that I think we could start doing, and I've made a list with from things that I've chatted with some of several people like Jonathan and John and Marco in recent days, and I thought we could maybe create some issues and start working on them in a more concrete manner. So, okay, one thing that is a shortcoming, I think, is that we reinvent the wheel constantly. So for instance, we don't have a centralized way where we create a cluster in the end-to-end tests. We still have places where we do kubectl apply, kubectl create, and then we apply a YAML manifest. And there are others where we have some tooling to create a cluster. And so one thing is that we need to do a go over the code base. But also I think that we need a smarter create cluster function, because what happens right now is that if you create a cluster and you give it a bad image, say, what you're going to find is that your cluster is not coming up. And if this happens in the cloud, you're going to have to find out what pod the Fluent is running the stuff in, and then get that, and then find out that your pods are in image pullback off. And it seems that we should be able to do much better with a library, a cert function that we create clusters with. And if there's a problem with the images, it could externalize a more interesting condition rather than, pod, timed out because after 10 minutes, my pod is not up. And then something that Jonathan mentioned is that we should start using the Kubernetes client rather than calling the kubectl, because if we do that, we get parsable input from the API server rather than kind of having to ad hoc create parsers and like ad hoc kind of output stuff with some shell magic. Anyway, this is really, I had a list of ideas here, but I wanted to see if there's suggestions by people, and if we maybe should start putting stuff in the board about this, or maybe have a meeting about testing kind of more holistically. Thoughts, opinions, comments?
I think for this E2E test takes a long time to develop. I have a second thought on this, right? I think E2E tickets stand more on the queue in the review process and the testing process. So maybe we can optimize it there. We can say E2E tickets cannot stand more than this. So when you say it's long time to develop, it's what exactly timeline you're looking at? Like it's getting merged in main or
No. What I'm saying is that you take a new feature you've developed, and in your developer desktop, you should be able to say, okay, I'm going to write a quick end-to-end test to verify that it works. And this should be half an hour.
This is very subjective, Jaime. The end-to-end is
everything is very subjective, Danish.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
like right now, getting an end-to-end test done takes Days.
complex.
Days. And this is not normal.
I think
Yeah,
the
but
first
also-
step should be make some documentation on how to write tests in our code base. Just the starting point.
I think it is there objectively, I think is testing is very difficult right now. I think that's objective. There are subjective approaches to what we need to do, and I think a meeting about it might be a meeting focused just on this. John recommends another meeting. That'll
Meeting
win me a
on
lot
test
of lot of fans, but yeah.
I'm a fan.
Okay, good.
Does anyone have some very specific piece that could be Jira-sized that we could like start working on soon? Because I mean, I agree, we should put up a document as Amanda suggests, and we should probably have a meeting as John suggests. Is there anything that's like, if we do this, like it's going to be a big win and we can...
API-based approach. The client is interesting, use Kate clients. So we can think of removing the kubectl and we can
I'm going to
think
put
of adding, yeah. That's where we can
Jonathan.
explore.
Also, I find interesting what Danish said, you know, that end-to-end test tickets keep piling up because there's not enough review, or review is not done on time. You know, my advice is that when that happens, we should stop writing new tests. Okay, that's part of, you know,
I agree.
manufacturing, I mean, principles I've always found very, I mean, although counterintuitive, but they work. So there's a motto that, you know, if you in Kanban that says stop starting, start finishing. Okay, when that happens, instead of producing more tickets that eventually will become obsolete, because maybe the review process will rewrite some of the tickets and then you'll need to rebase. The best approach is to even stop doing, you know, stop adding stuff and maybe concentrate, ask for peer reviews and ask for the review to happen, okay?
That's not just stopping end-to-end tickets, it's stopping tickets. Because
exactly.
Even the features, if they have no end-to-end,
exactly.
What's the point of writing?
I think the more general way to say this is if there are enough tickets on the board, let's not put some more on it. Let's finish what is on the board.
Yeah.
More generally, is there any reason to just not just work right to left on tickets?
Correct. That should be, that's the you know, lean approach. So that's what produces value. Okay. You know, all the work that is in the board is work in progress, and that's no value. Okay, but it becomes value once it gets done. Okay, so I think we should start refocusing again as a team. I'm sorry if I say again, but you know, and you know, swarm and move as a you know, as a team, or you know, at least, you know, a group of teams that work in this stuff, on this stuff, and get it done. Okay. So, but I don't know. I think I found interesting this comment from Danish, you know, and I agree. I mean, there's frustration from people that write tests, but that also means that if there's a bottleneck in the review, it means that the people that can do the review are busy with other stuff because there's too much work in the board. And if we keep adding work, you know, that increases the lead time. Okay. So anyway.
How about, well, this Kubernetes client idea that Jonathan talked about the other day, I think it's pretty good. And I think it would be, I mean, I agree. I think it's a ticket that could be done. I don't think it's easy at all, but I think it's very well constrained to be a single ticket. So
Yeah.
maybe we could rewrite one of the end-to-end tests with the Kubernetes client. And then from then on, we could like share this and then ask the team to start porting the existing work.
And do you think, Jonathan, that there's going to be a lot of gain from these? Okay, Jonathan's not.
Sorry. The gain that we will have basically will be improved the way we detect the errors. Not reviewing hundreds and hundreds of lines of files of FluentD logs, but detecting better the logs in the pods, the errors in the pods, and catching the logs from the pods.
Yeah, I think there will be
Not
significant
easy.
gain.
Is
But
there one
the only
test,
gain that I can see.
Is there one test? I mean, maybe we can leave some in a way and then start with the one that is driving us crazy for now, you know, and start tackling that. So if you've got one, I mean, maybe 1, 2, 3 end-to-end tests you can think of to start with, then we can plan them and add them to the board.
Good idea to identify which one is taking more time and then work on it and see what good it brings us.
I think the benefit from the API approach is not that the tests will execute faster necessarily, but that we'll get better information. From that point of view, I think.
Instead of parsing logs, yeah, if I understand correct. Okay, good.
It can be faster as well. I believe if we implement the client right, so we are going to omit the file systems, the file which we maintain in the fixtures. So like we maintain a lot of files per test cases. So that read cycle will be omitted. If you use clients, will do a Go templating and use that. I mean, like make some standard Go templating files, and based on your requirement, you pass on the information and remove all the files from there.
Yeah,
So
but we'll save like 2 seconds in 30 minutes of testing.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Also, I think we will not stop using YAML files because they're very readable and because, you know, they can become documentation or they can be ported over from documentation, and
They are
it's
fast
more
to do.
pleasant to use them than it is to hard code that in Go, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I had another one. Yeah, I think also making the cluster creation assertion smarter so that at least it can tell us about an error image pullback off and things like that. I think that it's terrible that when that happens, all we're going to see is that the cluster times out and doesn't get created. I think we could be smarter there. What do you think of opening a ticket for that?
I think we should also evaluate if we can build a Docker image that is way faster to bootstrap the cluster. So perhaps we could do a Docker image with a ready kind and a node that is up and ready. That will save us 20, 30 minutes.
You mean for the
Testing?
test?
Yes.
Yeah, the problem with that is that creating the image is not that difficult, but how are we going to put that image in the GitHub runners? That's the problem. We can do that in the self-hosted runners using an image.
Well, at least we can evaluate. Perhaps we cannot do it, but it's worth a try.
And plus on the cloud level, we should think of having a cluster. Maybe the cluster creation takes a lot of time, the cloud clusters itself. I mean, that's also part of the whole suite which it runs, right? Maybe we can.
Danish, what are you proposing there? Having a cluster, what, like one permanently there, or like I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah. For testing, maybe we can have one permanent cluster. On teardown, it removes everything related to our operator deployment and clusters.
but like
On the-
this would
on the-
not be something we can use for the end-to-end tests running, right? Like this would be for doing an experiment, or like what's the purpose of this?
Yeah, so on the cloud, if you see, the whole time is in the cluster creation itself. On the cloud specifically, not on the local runners.
That would be difficult to manage. Like,
Mhm.
what if Jaime and I are both running tests at the same time?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
was-
also, it is not in the important. I mean, you could find that it's an altered state, the cluster. Very dangerous, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for running the test, the suite itself, I don't see it. For doing an experiment and being like, oh, let's put this or something, like let's test this feature, that's a different thing. Okay, I didn't want to take that much time. I think actions here are meeting, document, and then this, but I'll add the notes to the Google Doc, and I think I can stop sharing unless somebody has more suggestions about this or more things they want to bring up about testing. Okay.
Okay, I think we're at the end. Any other topics you want to raise before we close? No, okay, nah, good. I mean, yeah, this was a good meeting. Thanks everyone. Thanks for staying up late, Jitendra, Danish, and yeah, I mean, let's look forward to 117. Okay, we've got less than 2 months, okay, to deliver the whole archive. So we have to organize ourselves with tests and so on, okay, and with the new intangible work to improve the tests. So I think we'll coordinate ourselves in the chat.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday there will be the review, most likely from the CNCF about our sandbox application. So fingers crossed. Okay.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank
Bye
you, guys.
bye. Thank
Have a
you.
nice day, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.